Welcome to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. We're friends that met in kindergarten and we love to travel. Now we're sharing our experiences and inspiring you to explore. Whether you're traveling by sea, in a train, flying high, or road tripping, it's time to hit the road with Mo and Joy. Hello and welcome to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Joy. How's it going, Mo?
It's going good. How about you?
Good. We are here to talk about Miami on a budget, kind of the second half of that. But before we do that, a little man in your life, and it's his birthday.
Yes.
So who are we talking about?
Tanner Wanner.
Yes.
That is my long-haired mini dachshund. He had a super milestone birthday today.
And what's that?
The big 15.
15. So in dog years, that's 105?
Yes.
Wow.
Good math.
Wow.
And you didn't even practice beforehand, to my knowledge.
I kind of did do the math beforehand.
Oh, you cheated.
I did. But I was thinking about it the other day. He's had such a good, long life. And he's in pretty good shape.
He is.
A little bit of eye stuff, a little bit of ear stuff going on.
Yeah.
But he's moving around really good. And he's still very frisky and jumping around. And
yes, he is our last, I'm using air quotes because you can't see me, child at home. We just moved our youngest to college very recently, and actually the Monday after Tanner had his birthday. So it's really cool. Joy's very close with Tanner. She keeps him at times for some of our family travels that she's not a part of. So Aunt Joy is definitely loved by Tanner, but I've had dachshunds, as you know, Joy, my entire life. Tanner is my fourth dachshund, and I have never had one make it to 12. So this was very unexpected for us, but so glad he's still here.
he has a good, long life. And I'll just tell a quick story on Tanner real quick.
Uh-oh.
One of the times that I was babysitting him, I was getting ready for Christmas and I had all this stuff because I was going to make s'mores boxes.
Oh.
So I had graham crackers and I had marshmallows and a bunch of chocolate and everything.
Oh.
And didn't really think anything about it, but had the bag on the floor and had left for a couple of hours, and I came back and he had gotten into everything.
Oh my God. I don't know if you told me this story.
And thank goodness he didn't eat the chocolate, but he tore up those marshmallows. And they were all wet and sticky and they were all over the floor. And I'm like, well, maybe I could and it was a loss. It was just a total loss. I had to start all over.
Okay, so either I'm just super old and I don't remember this story, but I feel like you didn't tell on him because you do keep a lot of secrets.
I might have not told on him because you would have been like, oh, let me know. No, it's fine. It's fine.
So I also have a Christmas story, but I was used to keeping things off the ground. However, he did get me. One year I had bought my brother-in-law, Greg, some specialty coffee bags from a trip. And I was super excited to give him these damn bags of coffee, thinking, oh, Tanner doesn't give a hoot about coffee. Dude, that joker rifled through all those bags and sniffed out the coffee, and he tore that crap out. There was coffee slung all over. So needless to say, Greg did not get the specialty coffee.
You do not like the smell of coffee or any of that stuff.
I
so
don't.
That was insult to injury.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's lots of Tanner stories, but we spoiled him for his birthday. Of course, he got to go for one of his rides, got a pup cup, lots of, just extra love because, probably he's towards the end and, you get to that place when you have the pets, right? It's like you don't want them to go, but at the same time, you don't want them to get to the place where there's like no quality.
Right.
So that's kind of like twirling in the back of my head, but he has just been the best boy and definitely loved by the fam. So I've really appreciated my just close circle of people who have loved on Tanner and kept him when we've traveled. So shout out Aunt Joy, Aunt Crystal, Uncle Greg, neighbors Laura and Cindy. You guys have been awesome.
So I think we're going to be going over days 3 and 4 of your Miami trip. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
We're wrapping it up.
Very good. So day 3, what stood out to you?
Last few days of Miami on a budget trip, we definitely got into the spirit of that. And I'll say that we tend to, especially if we're going via vehicle, and in this case, that vehicle happened to be the chartered bus, which we talked about last time. But we definitely like to pack some snacks, and we tend to bring along some protein bars that we will have after our morning workout for breakfast. We definitely had those. We use those for a few breakfasts. So thinking about being budget friendly.
Mm-hmm.
After meetings and doing some things at the convention, we walked over to the local Raising Cane's. So some of you may not know what that is. In general, I am not a fast food person. I've got a handful of sandwich shops that I like, and that is kind of my extent of fast food. However, our youngest child introduced us on one of the many baseball trips. It is actually like a fast food place, and it's super fun and lively, and it's got these 2 mascots. One is the owner's yellow lab, and the other is Elvis. So along the way, you will learn that I love music. I grew up on Elvis in particular, as well as a lot of oldies. And when I say oldies, no, I'm not talking about 1990.
A little bit older than that.
I'm talking about actual oldies, which technically means 1950s and 1960s.
Yes.
I actually love music of all kinds across the board. My dad really instilled that into us. My younger sister's the same, and we have been able to introduce all of those things to our children as well.
Yes, they're very musically diverse, all of them.
Obviously, I love Raising Cane's has an Elvis portrait in every single store that I've been to so far in a handful of states. But anyway, they are known for their chicken tenders, French fries. It's that type of a place. Honestly, the food is delicious. Honestly, it's all about the sauce. The Raising Cane's sauce to dip the chicken fingers in.
Tell me about the sauce.
I don't know. It's just friggin' good. I don't really know how they make it. Everybody talks about different sauces at different places, but this really is the jam. Like, I even use it for my fries. So that was our lunch this day, and I got like the 3-piece tender meal. My husband got the 4-piece, and that was under $30, just to give people a feel. Again, you can find all the different details about where we went, what we paid, and where these places were located in the South Beach, Miami area. Another thing, which we will talk about quite often when we cover our Ireland trip from last year, Joy, while we can't find it at all up here where we live, holy gelato. Everywhere you go, there is a gelato shop, at least in this particular area of Miami.
It's interesting. So it's a big Italian influence there, or?
I really couldn't tell you the reason why, but they're literally everywhere. I don't know that I've actually seen so many different gelato shops in such a concentrated area. So this is, on Ocean Drive, on Lincoln Road, all the different places that we walked in our general vicinity, there were multiple. I was warned that the prices for the gelato were double and sometimes triple what we would pay here. All along the way, as we were having our walks throughout this trip, I would pop my head in, and obviously you have to first ensure that your favorite flavor is there, right? Because if it's not there, then that's an automatic peace out.
Right.
The second thing is you just kind of, browse the price. And that was kind of my criteria, I guess, that I would say that I used as I was looking to see where I would land. We wound up landing this particular afternoon, day 3. It was literally right down the way from Raising Cane's, and it was ice cream gelato. Honestly, it was just a lovely shop across the board. It was aesthetically pleasing. It had a beautiful color palette. The inside was lovely. The girl behind the counter was absolutely lovely. That's where we landed. We each enjoyed some gelato, wound up sitting inside as usual. Cool thing was, when you're on a national conference, sometimes you wind up meeting people that you might not have been able to meet in other scenarios. So there were 3 guys down from New Jersey that happened to come in not long after we did. And I noticed a shirt and I was just like, hey, are you guys here with the conference? And they were like, yeah. So it was really, really cool. We got to visit, make some friends. And it's funny because, of course, I was like, oh, I have a friend up in New Jersey, although I've never been. They're like, oh, yeah, what town? So I gave the town. They're like, oh, my gosh, we live in the next town over.
How about
I was
that?
like, oh, my gosh, what are the chances? But that was really cool. After that, we went back to the hotel, kind of chilled out for a while. And then a little bit later, we did go out for dinner that night. We joined a close friend and then wound up bumping into other friends from the conference there at the restaurant as well. But we did Italian sit down this night. And I'm not sure if it's Rosanella or Rosanella Italian Trattoria, but this was another one of those scenarios that I noticed for multiple restaurants while we were down in Miami. You would have a restaurant with what I would call kind of a normal to our area inside seating. And then there would be like walking pathway directly front of the building. And then on the other side of that pedestrian walkway, you would have this umbrella or tent covered al fresco, like a whole outdoor portion of the restaurant, right? And it does amaze me. There are tons of people that sit outside and eat their food, even though it is hot and humid as Hades.
Right. They're acclimated.
Yes, I definitely think they're acclimated, or they're just people that are clearly not from humid areas who really want to soak up that vibe, right? I don't know. I'm not sure how you would acclimate to that. The food was absolutely delicious. It really did stand out, especially if you like more of a kind of authentic, less Americanized Italian menu. And what was kind of interesting is I tend to kind of circle around certain meals, and my husband tends to circle. And for whatever reason, this go around, I flip-flopped into his world and he flip-flopped into mine. But honestly, the food was delicious.
So what did you have?
I had the seafood risotto.
Okay.
which is totally Alex's vibe.
Huh.
And he had the mushroom ravioli,
Oh, that's what I would have
which is
ordered.
totally my vibe.
Yeah.
But what happened is our friends who had already been there before us, one of them had gotten the mushroom ravioli, and it was a dude, and he was just going on and on and on. So
He
like,
planted a seed.
yeah. So Alex was just kind of leaning towards that, and I was just like, all right, well, you do that. And of course we shared a little bit, but honestly, the food was delicious. And I would say, while it wasn't just a terrible splurge, it was definitely I think it was our most expensive meal of the trip. After that, again, at no cost, we walked down Lincoln Road again, which is a very popular area for the locals and the visitors. Then we snaked our way back to Ocean Drive, and our good friend who was dining with us, Dave, you know, he had his camera, and we were just taking pictures and enjoying just the scenes. By this time, it was Wednesday night, so the middle of a work week in Miami on an August time frame, and Ocean Drive was bustling joy. You know, in the corner spot, there was a Latin restaurant, one of many. There's multiple Latin restaurants, but this one stood out because their alfresco seating had a small live band going.
Oh, very nice.
And it was just, they were excellent and kind of doing like the whole vibe. So we took that in for a little, and then we walked all around Loomis Park. And I mentioned earlier how much it stands out that people are out and about, like physically, in Miami.
Right.
So rollerblading is really big there. And then I saw handfuls of electric scooters, some, you know, bicyclists. But this particular night, we were walking, I think, across the street. So we were on the big sidewalk that Loomis Park was beside us, and then the ocean, right? And then on the other side of us was the actual road where cars go, and then the boutique hotels and the restaurants. And so there's this long roadway that is sectioned off just for like the bicyclists and people like that. And
they encourage people to get out.
They do.
They make places for them.
They do, but it's funny, like the rollerbladers, they were like out. And I actually
They're
got
so
some
fun to watch.
Yeah, I actually got a couple of short videos. I know that I gave you still shots for the blogs. I'm not sure about the videos, if we're going to do anything with them or not, but they actually had like a little mini parade.
Oh, of rollerbladers.
Yes, and it was so fun because like a lot of them had like music on them. Some of them had like their little fancy wheels that lit up with the neon, but they were just out having a blast, and it was just really, really fun to take in because we don't really see that here. But then again, of course, we can go to the beach, but still, like, it just feels more of a sleepy beach vibe.
Right.
Where we are, where it's just super active and vibrant there. I also wondered a handful of times with certain people in particular that stood out to me. Are these certain personalities trying to get pedestrians or visitors to look at them and take pictures or video them? Because it was kind of like, wow.
They were begging for attention.
A little extra, but okay. Okay. But that was just a really fun time to get out there at no cost whatsoever and just enjoy the local nightlife.
Very cool.
Yeah. Our last full day, day 4, we, of course, I needed to make sure got in a authentic Cuban sandwich for Alex.
Yes.
So while he was wrapping up the rest of his conference, I did a little bit of looking to see what can I find that's off the beaten path to get an authentic Cuban sandwich.
That's within walking distance.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was pretty excited. I was able to find definitely off the beaten path this Cubaton sandwich shop.
Okay.
And we had to walk across Washington Avenue, which I was happy to get back over for a second because there's a couple of really great murals. I captured 3 of them. I think we posted 3 on the blog.
Yeah, they're really cool looking.
And there's at least one more that I know I did not get. I really enjoy murals in general. It's one of the handful of things that I love to look for when I am on a trip or in a town that is not familiar to me. I always try to grab some murals if they're available. But anyway, we hopped across Washington Avenue and then we went down this side street. We were over there actually on 15th Street. And again, space was a premium. And when I say premium, this one was the most out of the few shops that we visited this trip. Mm-hmm. In the front window, there was literally a kind of like a built-in table type of situation that jutted out from the window, right, for the street of the store.
Okay.
And 2 round stools. I guess you would call them stools. And that is where we sat and we looked out at the street. There wasn't a lot going on because it was a small, it looked like there were residences and stuff further to the one side of us from where we walked down. But 2 lovely ladies were in there and they have a nice little menu and it was lovely. I got a turkey avocado sandwich on fresh Cuban bread. Delish. Like for real. Alex got his Cuban sandwich fix. He loved it. It was everything he was hoping for. I would just say, even though I called it out in the blog, you know, we were a little bit unsure because obviously we were visitors. Technically, we did not need to order a bag of chips to go with our sandwich. They had like a small little portion with our sandwich of like these little matchstick type chips.
Oh, okay.
And that honestly is more than sufficient. So if you happen to go looking for this shop and you're not like super starving and want like the extra chips in a bag, those are more than sufficient. They were nice and salty, but not too salty. And yeah, they were lovely. So after that, because it was getting to be a little bit later in the day here, I was able to go back and capture a couple of the murals that I was looking for. I was, of course, excited to see Prince, and he had just a really great large space with his guitar. Well, probably one of his many guitars, right? And then I got the actual one that displays Washington Avenue. And then I stole one from Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Yes. I did not get Marilyn Monroe, and there might have been a couple of more. My view of Washington Avenue for this trip was fairly limited because it was hot and I was on a mission for food and all of those things. The rest of that afternoon, we really enjoyed for the last time our oceanside balcony. That's another just great way to unwind and spend nothing and just listen to the waves and enjoy some peace and quiet and some nice conversations. No phones, just people.
Like talk to people?
Yeah, like talk to each other.
Whoa.
Right? But yeah, after we packed up to get ready to head out the next morning, which was going to be pretty early, pretty late in the day, which I don't really love to eat late, but Alex was like, dude, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh my gosh. So literally within a couple 100 feet of the hotel, there was pizza bar. And it actually, believe it or not, had a lot of interior seating and heavy duty AC.
Very good.
That definitely stands out to me. Little bit of a racy advertising here and there. I put that out there with the blog. And, but honestly, thankfully it justified the price. Like, I felt a little bit crazy paying like $10 and change per slice. But it was as big as both of my hands, and it took 2 disposable plates to house it on.
It was good.
It was tasty. It was delicious. Yeah. But I definitely, if you're a family, I would not go to this place and order slices. You want to get your whole pie. And I think that they like pride themselves on having like the largest slices in town, something like that.
Very cool.
But yeah, it was super, super good. And so that was kind of almost the end of our trip. I would like to call out like one additional thing as we are wrapping this up. Joy, I had sent it to you as we were leaving. And again, we were on a chartered bus in the event that you missed our first podcast. So if you did, take a look at podcast 1 for how to enjoy Miami on a budget. And then, of course, hit up our blog at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com. But I happened to see a sculpture. I didn't get a really good look at it. I did grab a picture. I'm not going to say it's the best quality, but it's not terrible. You can definitely make it out. And I had no idea what it was. So,
but you said it was so striking that it just grabbed your attention. And
it did. Honestly, if I'm very honest, it actually gave me the creeps at first.
Oh.
And then after I did a little bit of research and I was able to find out what it was about, that's actually the intention. So it did hit me the way that it was intended. It's actually a Holocaust memorial park. And what had caught my attention as we were, I think we were trying to merge onto the interstate or something like that. It felt like there was a lot of roads and we were kind of going up on a curve when I saw it out of the corner of my eye. But it's this ginormous human hand. I don't know, like maybe from just above your elbow up to the fingers that was sticking up. And then you could kind of make out that there were like these things that were attached. And I had no idea what that was all about. We will definitely post some information about that, or at least say what it is. It was the work that went into this park. I learned that there was probably the largest Holocaust survivor population in Miami back in time, which I was not personally aware of this. This all started in 1984. A group of survivors came together and they established a private nonprofit, and they dedicated the actual park, including this and a handful of other sculptures, in 1990. And the things that were mentioned on there were just extremely compelling, but it's an entire park. People visit it. There are field trips that go to it. It's definitely worth taking in. If I ever go back to this area, I will definitely take a look at it, but you cannot miss the significance of the sculpture, and it definitely catches your eyes. So history is important, whether our opinions of it match or not. It's very compelling, and it's important for all of us to understand and appreciate.
True that. Well, very cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing all about Miami and your trip. I've learned a lot. I'm wanting to head back down there. It's been years since I've been. I was, 12 years old or something. I'm sure it's changed a lot since then.
Oh my gosh, wait. I just remember you telling me a little sideline. So, y'all, I have grown up with Joy. I've known her for many, many, many years, and I know her family quite well. And her mom was just a very unique personality. I called her Meddy, but I think that you shared a memory of Meddy and seeing sights on the beach.
Yes, she loved the beach. She loved going to the beach. And so we were in Miami Beach with my dad. I think he had something going on with the Air Guard. And so he was down there for work, and she would want to go to the beach. And wherever we went, I don't know if it was a topless beach or may as well have been topless beach. But my memory is the fella in Speedos. I'd never seen a gentleman in Speedos before. And I remember being traumatized over that. But I just remember her being rah, 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 and all fussy about it because wherever she had taken us. And I remember the beach there being rocky and shelly. It was hard to walk on. Is that...
No, that is not what I've experienced.
You had white sands and...
White sand. I will say that our first day when we went out on the balcony, I was taking a look because I noticed like all this dark stuff. Because one of the things, the waters there are much more beautiful than they are here. You get like all the different vibrant blues and the turquoises and all that. So you're kind of like, oh, look at that. And then you contrast that with the white beach. But they were having some of the, I guess, seaweed that washes in from Lord knows where. Mm-hmm. And it was all kind of like gathered together all along.
Up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it kind of looked a little like, ew.
Yeah.
I actually did not go out on the beach at all this go round. Mm. And it's probably just because, number one, we grew up in beachy Florida.
Yep.
But number two, like we talked about last time, I was in Miami this time a year ago, almost to the date. Yep. And when we ended our last conference a year ago, because I had never been to South Beach in my life, we stopped in there and we stayed over actually in North Miami Beach overnight just so I could kind of get some of the vibes. And we walked the beach then. Mm-hmm. And it was just soft sand, white, not really any shells, and just vibrant colors everywhere. And oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about the iguanas, right? Like I just remembered, how do you go to Miami and not talk about the super cool, ginormous iguanas? So kids are generally, and some adults, if you're not used to them, fascinated. I did get a cool little video of one climbing up the tree, but they're all over. So
they're huge. They're not little lizards. They're 2 feet long or more.
Yeah. Some can be much longer. So that's like a really fun thing to take in. Kids really love the iguanas. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I remembered to say that. But no, it's not rocky and it's not super shelly.
Yeah, I'll have to get my way back there. But in the meantime, thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for tuning in to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. If you have questions or topic suggestions, we would love to hear from you. You can connect with us through our website at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com. On the website, you'll find all the things: socials, blogs, recommendations, inspiration, and things you might need to know for upcoming travel. And if you'd like to partner or advertise with us and connect with our amazing audience across the country, feel free to reach out to us at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com/media. That's it from us this week, but don't forget, get out there and explore.